Hi everybody, hope you're doing well and welcome to a video about Alliance Wars Showcase, the Phoenix Force version. There's a lot of stuff happening. It's definitely something that kind of slipped off my radar for coverage. So, and of course today, if you don't know already, we are going to see the Fantastic Force recruitment. There's a lot of stuff going on in MCOC. I am honestly surprised within 1 week that I've actually caught up with everything. And now I can focus my attention on the Fantastic Force recruitment squad builder game mode. So yes, that's dropping today. It might be by the time if you see this video already dropped, but I want to focus a lot of video attention on this in the coming days. So yeah, that's that. Anyway, let's get into some bit of coverage and options, and I'll talk a bit more about what went well, what went bad. The Dark Phoenix Showcase, the Alliance Wars Warpath version of this, was okay, but there were problems and there were issues. Over the course of this video, you're going to see some really nice one-shots. You're going to see some stuff that maybe didn't go quite so well. And as I talk about a few things about stuff like, first of all, what the heck is going on with this AI? Like, the AI in this particular warpath is not great, right? It's just not good at all. In particular, the Nova fight. And for those that went, well, I managed to get through it. Yeah, I totally get you. Like, I was able to hard cheese this. I'm talking full on hard cheddar cheese, my friends. With Juggernaught, who was just an absolute, well, he was a Juggernation? I don't know whether, Revelation, not a Juggernation. Well, it's a rank 4. 7-star Juggernaught. He's an absolute beast. He's one of my favorite champions, and yes, he was able to smash through this nice and dandy like. There's also a few other champions as well. If you go to the description, I've done a write-up of some of the good options for this particular fight, and all of the fights, by the way. So Hercules, Prowler with the bypass falter, because of course falter does pop up. Prowler's an iffy one, but give it a go. Hood, Onslaught, Sinister, as in Mr. Sinister, Kushala, Spiral, Wiccan, if you use the Hulkling Synergy, Rintrah, Tigra, Longshot, Juggernaught, of course. And then you've got Cyclops, Nick Fury, White Tiger, Purgatory. Now, Purgatory does work very well for this fight, but as well, so does Juggernaught. I liked him. And over the course of the quest, the AI is just equally a little bit kind of scuffy and weird in places. Doing the Elsa fight is probably a breath of fresh air because it's an SP1 rotation a lot of the time. You'll find yourself just kind of being able to, just deal with it like SP1 rotate. A lot of the time you might be like, oh, Genesis, so I'll bring in Coda-based champions as your counters because, believe it or not, they're part and parcel of the counter-based measures for this one. So some of the things that some of the champions I have suggested in the description against the various fights are going to be champions that play into, but maybe don't play into the champions Coda against the Genesis. So, and again, there are some options that are relatively good. You might hard counter these fights through, well, some really out there wacky champions. I mean, hearing Hercules being used, like, I don't recommend Hercules, but I've definitely I've heard about people using Hercules for this particular fight through at least Nova, but then other ones it was a bit of a difficult one. On the left hand side you do have a couple of techs, so you might be like, well, class advantage, but a lot of the time using different champions on them and just focusing our attention on is it the left hand side or the right hand side? So we'll do right hand side first. The right hand side was my favorite path to do. It was actually enjoyable. The left hand side not so much, but I think that's because of having Bastion and Count Nefaria, and for some reason some weird AI, and also I haven't faced against their animations in a while, so maybe it's on me. Maybe it's a little bit on me, maybe it's a little bit on Kabam at the same time. So let's focus on the right path a little bit. And as I said, footage will be coming up over the top of this, showcasing some things that went well and not so well. So against Hitmonkey, who's your first fight for this one. And a lot of them, they're very easy leave to SP1s, rotate around. And as long as you've got the counter for certain elements like evading, missing, not just like with Hitmonkey, with some of the other ones on there, I think you're going to find it a little bit more enjoyable. Hitmonkey, I used Serpent for this, and that worked relatively well, although there were some questionable bits with some weird AI that kind of like the AI was able to snap out of things the same way when Nova was, and I was like, what the heck is this? So therefore there was like presentation of like a window where I was just getting absolutely clapped in the face. And again, that's a general thing, not just with Hitmonkey fight, but on that particular fight you could use Jean Grey, Cyclops, Onslaught. Maybe I should have used Onslaught for that one. But that was okay. You know, Null was a absolute lovely one shot with Absorbing Man. It was probably one of my favorite ones, one of my favorite fights across the entirety of this, apart from using Onslaught against Elsa Bloodstone, apart from using Juggernaught against Nova, and getting a one shot with that. But Mole Man, Rintrah, Spiral, and Wiccan, to name but a few, that could do that Null fight very nicely, and that's always good to see. Lumitrix, I think, was causing a few people a bit of a bugbear and a ball ache. There's only kind of three really... There are other counters than there's three. Not saying that, but there's three key counters that seem popping up from time to time. For me, it was Serpent. In hindsight, I probably would have used Cyclops, and never rule out Bullseye to help you out. But it just depends on who you've got, really. Options-wise, you might be quite limited if you're looking for something that's kind of like a counter to this... frustration with Mixmaster and the miselements of the SP1 when he goes invisible. So difficult one, isn't it, to kind of pick what the better option here. And of course, finishing off with Medusa before we get to Korg. That again, simple fight. I think I used Juggernaught here and had a bit of fun, but I did find that the AI was a bit weird, a bit kind of like standoffish, and at times not throwing specials, and other times it was. It just, there's no I'd say organic, natural flow of the fight when the AI is not being as decent to you as maybe you would hope. And of course Korg, but we'll come back to that as soon as I just talk about the left-hand side. On the left-hand side, and I saw a lot of recommendations for Superior Iron Man against Prowler. I went with, I think, Serpent, and that was fine. Otherwise I would have gone Fox, but yeah, you know, it is what it is. Then things just did. I got a little bit annoyed. Ironheart and Photon work well here as well. I ended up getting a little bit annoyed with the AI kind of like going into some of these later fights, and it wasn't that enjoyable for me at all. When we get to Camp Nefaria, I used Onslaught, and maybe I'll just put it down to like bit of an off time. I was trying to rush through this in my lunch break, which isn't exactly ideal because I've got to do my Summoner Fest objectives for Battlegrounds, so I had to do some Battlegrounds as quickly as possible and other stuff. Sometimes it's just like I'm just rushing around too much with the game. It's just, it sucks when you don't get to have that level of enjoyment. It's just rush, 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 go, 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 now, like, because there's not enough time later on. As we said, in about several hours we're covering the Fantastic Force Recruitment Squad. You know, there needs to be a guide for that. There needs to be some coverage. There needs to be some testing. Yeah, it's tough, but it is what it is. We're all in the same boat. It's not just me. We're all in the same boat. We all got the same issues with the stuff we've got to do. And it's only been 1 week since the new stuff's come out. Anyway, me moaning, moving on. Yeah, Bastion, probably good here. Onslaught, probably better to have used. Yeah, I actually used Bastion. Not Bastion, the Onslaught. I want a Bastion. And Ironheart would have been good here. Didn't use Ironheart. Should have used Iridian. Kate Bishop could have been done quite well as well. Spider-Ham wasn't too bad because, like, you've got just evade-based counters. Any evade-based counters will do just fine with this. So, yep, that's really it. Serpent, Mole Man, Venom, any evade-based counters. SP1 rotate. Look out for, I think Mole Man's good because, and Nick Fury is good because of the way that his Porker Poppers work. So maybe champions that deal directly with that. Oh, Koye. Oh my word, I completely forgot Koye. Koye is great for the left-hand side. Do I have her? No. No, I do. Or do I have her? Probably don't, actually. I really wanted to kind of get her from a crystal opening recently. Anyway, Superior Iron Man works for this fight. Maestro, if you've got Incinerate immune-based options or Incinerate Shock immune-based options, they're great. If you don't, you might suffer. And you could do Void with this, and Onslaught is a bit of an option. I tried it, didn't work for me, but as we said, like, if you're having an off day or you're not playing particularly well, then, you know, the worst thing you do is kick yourself down. So if you've got those shock and incinerate based counters, they can be very helpful. And of course, if you've got Maestro, then even better with that. Finishing up with Korg, a lot of people recommend Dust. Didn't go well for me at all, really. But as we said, like this second run was probably not my best. Spider Ham, Iceman. Oh, big recommendation from the community: Crossbones. Right, I should have used Crossbones. I saw that on my second route and thought, I'm always already kind of like deep into this. Why don't I use Crossbones? But in any case, it's done. It's over. It's over. Like, move on. Like, it's done. Because the champion has ruptures and has has ruptures and poisons. You need something that's kind of like able to combat that in some sort of state or form, because of course the way that he splits is between those two debuff things. So if you kind of hit him on the poison debuff, which isn't always applicable and easy to do, because it's like, well, you have to rely on the AI's rotation to then, when you're going to hit on poison, you're not then backed into the wall and you're then not kind of being knocked down and, you know, triggering off the passive, unstoppable, and passive, unblockable at the same time. And that's tricky unless you've got some kind of like, I don't know, slow debuff passive or something like that. But I you know, wouldn't have been a thing to kind of do. Finishing off with Xerxes, and she has some decent counters. I tried Kushala. It didn't really work for me. Other fights have worked very, very well with it. I would have liked to have used Werewolf by Night. I used Juggernaught, and that was fine. I probably would have used, if I had a higher ranked up version of Tigra, I used Tigra. And of course, Shathra. Like, you can't rule out Shathra. Rintrah as well is a great option here. Doctor Doom, not quite sure on. Hood as well is a community recommendation if you've got one ranked up. But yeah, that's been it. There's been some options. As we said, there's a write-up in the description of the options, and I'm out of here. Like, I'm done with this now. We're moving on to Squad Builder. Who do you use? Put in the comments. Did you use anything other than what I put in the description? I might put in a pinned comment. We'll have to see. But I'm done with this now, and I'm moving on to other bits of coverage. Have a lovely day, and goodbye.